Today we're going to make what appears to be the easiest recipe for baguettes that I have ever found. I'll put a link to where I found it in the comments. I've seen it several places. This is the one I remember. But it's such an unusual method because they don't do really any kneading or folding. It's more of a pour kind of baguette. I'm going to start out with 425 grams of bread flour. Now, just so you'll know, today that was slightly more than 2.5 cups of bread flour. To that, we are going to add a teaspoon of salt and a half teaspoon of yeast. We're also going to add a teaspoon of sugar. Not necessary, you don't have to do that, but it should help with the bread rise. I'm going to stir this up and mix the yeast and the salt and the sugar and I'm going to add the water. And what we're trying to get is a shaggy dough. So all we want to do is make sure we get all the flour mixed in with the water so it's all moistened. No more than that. But you should end up with a very shaggy looking dough, but all the flour should be mixed into it. Certainly can put your hands in there and mix this up if you prefer. What should happen is it should start pulling away from the sides and everything should leave you with somewhat of a clean side around the bowl. I'm a little violent with this, aren't I? So to make it a little easier to watch, I'm going to just take it, turn it over, and try and scrape the sides down while I'm at it. Okay. Now this is a nice, wet, sticky, shaggy dough. And what we're going to do is we're going to cover it and put it aside for 10 hours. And at that point, we're going to make the bread. I'm going to cover it. And I'm going to put it in my microwave overnight. This should make 2 baguettes, and we'll put them together in the morning. Okay, it's been about 12 hours, so I am going to sprinkle a little flour on this surface. I'm going to take and scrape out dough, which after 12 hours looks like that. So here we go. It's risen very nicely. It's nice, a lot of bubbles. Next thing I have to do is put a little flour on top to reduce the sticking. Now what I'm going to do different is instead of shaping everything, I'm just going to cut it into 2 pieces. Simple as that. And I'm going to shape them a little bit just by pulling them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them on the pan and just pull them into the shape I want, rather than going through all the rolling and etc. etc. And you got to do it pretty quickly. Just got to stretch it out, get it the shape you want. I'm going to take it and put it in the oven. But before I do, I am going to put a couple cuts in it. I guess I'm going to put 3 cuts in it if you want to actually be accurate. And we'll put it into the oven. And this recipe can easily be doubled. What's different about this recipe is the amount of time you spend folding, stretching, and shaping, and all that. You really just shape it. Just quickly shape it the way you want, and then throw it in to cook. Okay, we're going to check for doneness. I'm going to pull these out and check what the internal temperature is. They look pretty good. The internal temperature is more than 195. Can you hear it? Let me do a little better. Listen. They're ready to go. So, that much is good. The next step, I'm going to let them cool and then we'll test them and see how they taste. That sound is a good sign that it's ready. Okay, let's see what it tastes like. Feels like a baguette. It's a little heavier maybe, not sure. Let's cut a, has a nice crispy texture. A nice crumb. Looks pretty good. Now the test. I put a little butter on it. It's a little too much butter. Let's put some on this one. I'll cut another slice. Put a little of that butter on here. Okay. Tastes like a baguette. So, this is the quickest way as far as the least time you spend on it. Because basically you mix the ingredients, you let it rise, you shape it without folding or rolling or anything, you just shape it in the length you want, throw it in the oven, and you have a baguette. Is a baguette made taking a long time better? Doesn't taste any different. It might have a slightly different texture, but this is really good. So I'm going to do this again because I'm lazy. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. I appreciate it.